the protein surge that might decide how long you live. Because aging doesn't tap you on the shoulder, it floods your bloodstream. Aging, as it turns out, doesn't just tiptoe in with gray hair and joint creaks. Sometimes, it barges in through the blood. A recent study has uncovered something startling: a midlife surge in 48 proteins, many of them strongly linked to age-related disease. Not the kind of proteins you want more of. These are markers of inflammation, immune dysfunction, metabolic imbalance, and vascular damage. And they don't rise gently. They spike. Suddenly. As if your body hits an internal panic button and flips into decline mode. This isn't a vague metaphor. Scientists tracked thousands of individuals across a broad age range, analyzing their plasma proteomes, the full suite of proteins floating in their blood at any given time. What they found wasn't a smooth, linear curve of aging. Instead, there were waves, sharp inflection points where specific groups of proteins surged, often around age 34, 60, and most significantly, 50. One wave in particular stood out: a spike in 48 disease-linked proteins in midlife, like a biochemical alarm that the systems were starting to go offline. So, what's in this sinister protein cocktail? Many of the proteins were linked to chronic inflammation, a hallmark of biological aging and a key driver of diseases like Alzheimer's, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Others were tied to immune exhaustion, suggesting your body's frontline defense is quietly retreating. Several were connected to vascular remodeling, hinting that your arteries are beginning to stiffen and lose function. Some play roles in cellular senescence, that zombie-like state where cells stop dividing but start spewing toxic signals. Taken together, these 48 proteins form a sort of molecular fingerprint of decline. They appear to predict, not just reflect, risk for major chronic conditions. In fact, many of them show up in people who still feel healthy. That's what makes this so chilling. You could be doing fine, even thriving at work, keeping up at the gym, living on oat milk and ambition, and still carrying a blood-borne blueprint for accelerated aging. But don't panic, at least not yet. Because the flip side of this discovery is its potential. These proteins aren't just a sign that something's wrong. They may be the very levers we need to slow it down. For starters, this 48 protein panel could become a predictive biomarker, a kind of biological crystal ball that reveals your risk trajectory long before traditional symptoms appear. Imagine a future checkup where instead of just measuring cholesterol or glucose, your doctor runs a proteomic scan to see if your aging curve is about to tilt and whether you need to act now. No more guessing based on family history or how old you feel. This would be precision medicine on a new level. Even more intriguing, some of these proteins may be druggable targets. If a certain protein linked to vascular aging spikes early, perhaps we can block or modulate it before arteries begin to calcify. If an immune-regulating protein starts misbehaving, maybe it can be recalibrated before it triggers autoimmunity or opens the door to infections. Several of these proteins interact with known signaling pathways, like the infamous mTOR, IGF-1, and inflammatory interleukins that are already under investigation for anti-aging therapies. The future of longevity science might be less about slowing aging as a whole and more about silencing the worst molecular messengers before they throw your body off course. And yes, lifestyle still matters a lot. Many of the proteins in the 48 Club are influenced by diet, exercise, sleep, and stress. Chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, oxidative damage. All these conditions shape your proteome in real time. You might not control your genetics, but you do control the cellular environment those genes operate in. Anti-inflammatory diets, consistent movement, circadian-aligned sleep, and proper recovery aren't just wellness platitudes. They're literal counter-programming to this spike. So what does all this mean for how long, or how well you live? It means aging doesn't sneak up. It surges. And if you can catch that surge, if you can intercept those 48 proteins before they cascade into irreversible damage, you might not just slow aging. You might reshape it. Fewer diseases. More function. Better decades, not just more years. The mirror might lie. Your birthday might lull you into a false sense of where you stand. But your blood? It tells the truth. And now we're finally learning how to listen.